Onyx Storm summary in 5 minutes. Onyx Storm continues the epic fantasy story of Violet Sorrengail in a world increasingly consumed by war, political instability, and dangerous magic. Following the devastating events of Iron Flame, the third installment explores sacrifice, identity, power, and survival as Violet faces the growing darkness threatening both her loved ones and the kingdom itself. At the beginning of the novel, Violet is emotionally shattered by what happened to Xaden Ryerson. The man she loves has been corrupted by dark venom magic after sacrificing himself to save others during the previous battle. Although Xaden still appears physically human, Violet knows the dangerous magic inside him threatens to consume him completely. This creates immediate emotional conflict throughout the novel. Violet desperately wants to save Xaden while fearing what he may become. Xaden himself struggles to maintain control over his mind and humanity while hiding the growing influence of darkness inside him. Meanwhile, the war against the venom intensifies dramatically. The enemy grows stronger, more organized, and increasingly impossible to ignore. Entire regions become threatened as magical corruption spreads across the land. The kingdom's previous denial and political manipulation leave society dangerously unprepared for full-scale conflict. Violet continues growing into a powerful dragon rider and leader. Her bond with Tern and Andarna becomes even more important as hidden truths about dragons, ancient magic, and prophecy begin emerging. Andarna especially proves to be far more significant than anyone originally realized. Throughout the story, Violet searches for knowledge that could help stop the venom and save Xaden. This journey leads her to uncover ancient secrets deliberately hidden by both political and magical authorities. She realizes that much of history has been manipulated for generations. The novel expands the fantasy world significantly by introducing new locations, ancient magical systems, and deeper dragon lore. Rebecca Yarros reveals that dragons possess their own political tensions, secrets, and historical responsibilities connected to the war. Trust remains one of the novel's strongest themes. Violet constantly struggles to determine whom she can rely on in a world filled with hidden agendas and deception. Political leaders continue prioritizing power and control while ordinary people suffer the consequences of war. At the same time, Violet evolves emotionally and psychologically. Earlier in the series, she often doubted her strength because of her physical fragility. By this point, she has become more confident, strategic, and emotionally resilient. However, the burden of leadership and constant loss weighs heavily on her. The romance between Violet and Xaden becomes darker and more emotionally painful. Their love remains powerful, but Xaden's internal battle with corruption creates constant tension. Violet fears losing him emotionally even before she loses him physically. Xaden's storyline explores the danger of power and sacrifice. He willingly accepted dark magic to protect others, but the consequences slowly threaten his identity. He fights constantly against violent impulses and emotional instability while trying to remain the person Violet loves. The supporting characters also face major challenges. Friendships are tested by grief, fear, and impossible choices. Many characters experience emotional trauma from repeated battles and devastating losses. Rebecca Yarros emphasizes the human cost of war throughout the novel. As the conflict escalates, Violet discovers that defeating the venom may require sacrifices far greater than expected. Ancient prophecies and magical truths suggest that saving the kingdom could demand impossible personal choices. The action sequences become larger and more intense than in previous books. Massive dragon battles, magical warfare, and political betrayals create constant suspense and danger. Violet increasingly realizes that traditional methods may not be enough to defeat the enemy. One of the central ideas in Onyx Storm is balance between light and darkness. Characters repeatedly face situations where survival requires morally difficult decisions. The line between heroism and destruction becomes increasingly blurred. The climax delivers emotional devastation and major revelations about magic, dragons, and the future of the kingdom. Violet is forced to confront painful truths about power, sacrifice, and destiny. The ending leaves the world permanently changed and sets up even greater conflict for future installments. Overall, Onyx Storm is a dark and emotionally intense fantasy novel that expands the world and stakes of the series dramatically. Rebecca Yarros combines romance, dragon mythology, political intrigue, and emotional conflict into a powerful continuation of Violet's journey. The novel explores love, sacrifice, corruption, and resilience while pushing every major character to their limits.